A $40 million bounty to assassinate the US president, funded online. Sounds like a movie plot? It's not. Iranian clerics have issued a fatwa, a religious decree, calling for the assassination of Donald J. Trump, and allegedly, there's now a crowd-funded bounty backing it, worth $40 million. You heard that right. This isn't some fringe rumor buried in a dark web forum. It's an active online operation, openly hosted on an Iranian domain, with religious justification, slick branding, and a single mission: motivate someone, anyone, to kill Trump. According to national security analyst Max Lesser, this isn't just an idle threat. Iran has been trying to get revenge for years, but now it's out in the open, and it's evolved into a full-blown influence operation. What does that mean? It isn't just about sending a hitman. It's about radicalizing, mobilizing, and inspiring violence through the internet. And the scariest part? They claim to have already raised millions. Is the number real? We don't know, but the intent is. The site, named after the Arabic word for revenge, was discovered by FTD researchers during deep monitoring of Iranian cyber activity. It has a .air domain confirming its Iranian origin. But what really raised red flags? The man behind it has known ties to Iran's state broadcasting agency, which means this isn't just a rogue actor. This may be state-linked propaganda, or worse, state-backed terrorism. Here's how it works. The site promises financial rewards for acts of revenge. It references religious fatwas to justify violence. It targets Trump directly, calling for his death in exchange for money. And it's being shared across social media to generate buzz and attention. Make no mistake, this is terrorism with a digital twist. What this means for the US: here's why this matters beyond Trump. This is a blueprint for foreign adversaries using the internet to wage psychological and ideological warfare against Americans without ever setting foot here. Iran isn't just issuing threats, they're trying to radicalize, recruit, and incite, and they're not alone. This same tactic has been seen before. Russia spreading chaos through election disinfo, China recruiting former US intel officers online, Iran doxing US officials, journalists, and private citizens. The oceans no longer protect us. The battlefield is digital, and our enemies are getting smarter. How the US responds? Now here's the good news, because this wasn't just discovered and ignored. The FTD team identified the man behind the site, linking him to Iran's media apparatus. That information was passed on to US authorities, and the government can now pursue targeted sanctions, shut down the operation, and potentially go after the people responsible. But this also raises big questions. How many more sites like this are out there? How do we fight extremism when it's spread through a tweet? What happens when influence operations turn into real-world violence? A history of escalation. This isn't the first time Iran has used online platforms to push for violence. There was a previous campaign called Enemies of the People, where Iranian-linked sites doxed US election officials and incited violence after the 2020 election. More recently, Iranian-backed influence networks encouraged Yemenis to attack Saudi Aramco, targeting one of the most important energy suppliers on the planet. So the trend is clear. Iranian influence operations are turning darker, more direct, and more dangerous. What you should know. So what can everyday Americans take from all of this? According to Lesser, it's time we recognize the internet isn't just a tool, it's a weapon in the hands of foreign adversaries. Whether it's Tehran, Moscow, or Beijing, the new frontier of warfare isn't boots on the ground. It's screens in your home. This threat isn't about fear, it's about awareness. The fact that an Iranian-linked site can call for the assassination of a former president, offer a $40 million bounty, and distribute that message globally is a chilling example of how vulnerable we are in the digital age. And while this specific threat has been flagged and reported, the next one might be harder to catch. A $40 million bounty, a fatwa, a digital hit list. And it's a reminder, threats don't always come with missiles or armies. If a $40 million bounty can be posted with a few clicks, what does that say about the future of digital warfare?